Make it clap, daddy. Smoke a ring, honey. Make it clap, daddy. Make it clap, daddy. Make it clap, daddy.
Boy,
what you doing, boy? I am the Meagre Masochist. Welcome to the show.
Hey there.
Welcome to another installment of r/no sleep. We have, what do we have, Truff? I can't remember.
We're dipping back into part 3 of a story. Anyhow, that old doll we love, Matilda.
Hey, Matilda, what you doing?
If you didn't listen to parts 1 and 2, highly recommend doing that before you listen to part 3, unless you're completely fucked. That'd be pretty weird. But yeah, this is I bought an old doll as a birthday gift. Now it's speaking to me and it knows the truth. Part 3. What are we doing? We running 3 through 5 here? Is a 5-parter?
Yeah, let's just finish it out. I feel like it's gonna probably not be too long. It seems like the last 3 are relatively shorter. This says author is Bad Andy the Red. Thank you, Bad Andy. It kind of sounds like a pirate name, like Bad Andy the Red.
He's a bad boy. I saw you got some podcast action going now, boy.
Yeah. So we are now live on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and Podbean. You can find us on any of those platforms.
I like that, man. I like being able to, because like a lot of times when I listen to stuff, I'm driving or I'm doing some bullshit chores and whatnot, you know.
Yeah, we try to make it so that you don't need to see the visuals. The visuals are fun. It's fun to kind of see the visuals, but you don't need them.
Just want to see your face.
It's about the story, you know, and our obscene silliness.
Speaking of which, let's talk about this doll. So a little flashback, part 1, 2. She's got a doll for her mom as a gift, and it speaks to her telepathically. I can't even say that in English.
Who's up now?
Speaks to her telepathically, is seeking vengeance on those that lie. I think that's a fair...
It wants the truth and nothing but the truth.
Well, let's get in there, dude.
Let's get into it.
I woke up to my alarm blaring and I groaned. It was a work day and the return to a bit of normalcy was appreciated, but I was still very tired. I was tempted to hit snooze, but I decided to get up and get going. I had not slept well as I spent much of my night wondering what to do about my new friend. Despite the innocent facade, I worried just what Matilda would be capable of. She was possessed with a childlike innocence and a desire to please. Yet she had a ruthless disregard for human life beyond who she proclaimed her friends. My concerns had to wait for a moment. I had to get to work. I was preparing a quick breakfast to go when I heard something from the living room. I stepped inside and saw Matilda on the shelf where I had left her. She wore a sad expression, and there were strange streaks on her cheeks, almost like a woman who had had too much makeup on was crying and leaving trails on her face. I asked her,
"What's wrong, Matilda?"
I heard the soft, almost imperceptible whimpering continue for a short moment, and then she responded.
"Oh, good morning. Well, it's nothing. It's just that it gets very lonely in the dark and on the shelf all by myself at night. I was wondering if maybe I could be in the room with you at night. It would be a lot less scary and it would make me feel better. You don't have to do it if you don't want. I just think it would be nice."
No, stay the fuck out of my room.
I want to watch you sleep from a distance. Like that's a no-go. That's a no-go for me.
You know what, dude? You bring a doll home and you start talking to it.
You have lost your mind.
Yeah,
like at that point. You have to be thinking about your own psychic structure at that point.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, get in bed. Let's cuddle.
I mean, the thing obviously likes you because it's killing other people around you to help you. It's strictly out of truth. It hasn't had any kind of malice towards her yet, you know?
Yeah, man, but that's like...
Yeah, the dog always bites the owner in the end, you know?
Tommy beats me sometimes, but he means well.
I still love him.
Or yeah, he's really rough with people, but he'd never hurt me, you know? Like, you gotta be walking on eggshells as long as this doll's around.
And then, porcelain! Yeah, and your teeth are all hanging out.
I love you. Once again, my reservations of the danger of the psychic doll took a backseat to my sympathy, and I felt bad she had been scared. I also felt guilty I had not thought of it earlier, and I told her.
Of course, I'm sorry. I had not thought of that. That would be just fine, Matilda.
I heard a strange squeal sound, like the adulation of a young child, and then she spoke again.
You mean it? I promise I won't be any bother. It is fine, yes, but I have to get going to work now. Will you be okay here for a while? At least while I'm gone?
I was surprised I was asking, and I found despite my previous concerns that I had genuinely considered her feelings before acting. There was a sound like mumbling, and then another soft appeal.
Well, if it would be all right, I thought I might tag along and maybe stay in your backpack. You could talk to me on your breaks, and then I would not have to be alone here with all the voices.
I was not sure about that request. I was worried what might happen if Matilda got any ideas about my co-workers telling lies, and how they would be punished accordingly. I was about to decline her request when I looked back up from my contemplation and saw her face had shifted to a design of hopeful anticipation. Her eyes were bright and shiny, and her smile was wide and waiting. I relented, and rather than deny her request, I decided to let her come along, just this once to my work. I was already forgetting that she had gotten a man killed just yesterday.
Oh, all right. Just for today to see how it goes. But please be good.
Matilda agreed readily, and we were off to work. Oh, man.
This is gonna be bad. Like, I can kind of see that, like, as soon as Paul by the water cooler even looks at her the wrong way, he's gonna be, like, drowned in the closet, like, inside of the mop bucket or something.
Definitely. Your boss is paying other people more for the same position as you, and he's fucking your cousin.
What?
I mean, you never know.
Yeah, you don't.
We gotta package him up.
Oh, this is gonna be bad.
It was a short drive to my work, and I rode on with Matilda riding in my backpack. The back opened and her head poked out so she could see things as we drove. We arrived, and I turned back to her and reminded her.
Remember, be good, okay?
I heard something odd that might have been a childlike grumble of acceptance, then a sweet and compliant answer of,
Yes, of course. Thanks again for taking me with you. You are the best friend ever.
We stepped inside, and I went straight from my desk. I worked as an insurance underwriter for a small industrial insurance company. It paid well, but like all insurance companies, the profit motive was king, and as such, the company was not shy about any tactics to save a buck. The fear of losing our jobs kept a near constant aura of paranoia and suspicion in the office chatter. Chatter which I will admit I partook of from time to time, but often tried to avoid. It would be difficult to ignore any intrigue with a mind-reading doll in my backpack, ready and eager to divulge my co-workers' darkest secrets. I walked past James and Kathy talking about something they had been doing on the weekend, and avoided direct eye contact with Bridget, who I knew would try to fill me in on the details of who she suspected was on Mr. Langoon's shit list, and who might be getting the axe next. As I sat down and booted up my computer, I heard a familiar voice in my ear.
Hey man, how was the weekend? Mine was great. I met a new lady friend, and let's just say we hit it off big time, if you know what I mean.
It was Gary, a very friendly but slightly oversharing person. I sometimes spoke with him about random things, but often I try to keep my head down at work even before a day like today. I politely responded as I did, with an attempt at what the business tried to discourage in sales calls, a close-ended statement.
Just fine, thanks. Glad yours was as well. I have to get to work. Thanks, Gary.
Gary shrugged and walked away as he left. I heard a murmur in my mind. She was doing it again. Oh
Why would your
God.
friend...
Oh, God.
Why would your friend pay for someone like that?
Oh, my God. We know where... Gary had himself a time, and he paid a pretty penny.
Gary!
What'd you do, Gary boy?
Why would your friend pay someone for that?
I was confused and asked Matilda.
For what? What do you mean?
There was a pause, and Matilda spoke again.
He paid his new friend he was speaking about to do things with him, and then she left, and he paid her money. Is that what...
Met a little lady friend, if you know what I mean. $59.95.
Oh, Gary. Oh, Gary's a perfect name for this sicko.
Waffle House
Gary.
special.
Is that what friends are supposed to do?
I hope she's like, yes, Matilda. Actually, that's why I bought you. I sighed and realized that Matilda had seen Gary's transaction with his new lady friend, and I realized that their meeting was not quite as organic as Gary suggested. Matilda chimed in again and was about to go into more detail when I cut her off.
No thank you, Matilda. I don't need to know more about Gary's prostitute.
She's like, then he took out a bottle of lotion. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Matilda.
And then P. Diddy came in.
Oh, P.
What
Diddy.
do you mean?
There was so much baby oil. Why would anyone need that? Do friends always need that much baby oil?
Oh, man.
Did they have a child? Jeez. Another delay, and I sighed as I anticipated the next question.
What is a prostitute? Is it a kind of friend?
I don't know why, but I responded in the same way a parent might to an awkward question from their kid by saying,
I'll tell you when you're older. Let's leave it for now.
I heard an acknowledgement and I got back to work. After an hour or so, I looked up from my computer. I saw the face of my boss, Mr. Langdon, leering down at me. He interrupted me by loudly clearing his throat and spoke. All right, before we go forward, what's your guess? What is Mr. Langdon hiding?
He likes to put on like lacy stockings and stand in front of his mirror.
Maybe. I don't know if that's going to make Matilda mad, though.
Well, I mean, why would prostitution make her mad?
He has a lot of gerbils and tubes.
Yeah, that's possible. Did you get Kelso's account reviewed yet?
He grinned down at me with barely disguised impatience, and I looked at my log for the day and saw the name further down my list. I responded.
Yeah, I'll take care of it. Why, did they call? Did I need to expedite that one?
I should not have asked, as I saw the condescending look he gave when someone asked a question he viewed as stupid. His face curled into a sarcastic smile and he said,
Yes, expedited, pretty please, with cherries on top. Not sure why I have to ask. You gotta be careful. Clueless underwriters might be at risk. Gotta stay on top of it and be proactive.
He shot me one last annoying grin and walked away. I was upset by the indirect if not insulting exchange. Langdon was always a little passive-aggressive, but today seemed like it was worse than usual. Then, as if sensing my distress, I heard Matilda faintly in my mind, and I knew she would not let the verbal slight go unanswered. I tried to tell her to stop, but she was already away. I prayed she would not do anything too crazy. After 5 minutes, I felt her presence stirring again. I bent down and unzipped my backpack, and I saw her face with a richness of anger etched plainly on it. I was considering asking her what she did, but she spoke first.
He is a bad man. He lies a lot. He lied to his family. He told them he did not know that woman. Then he hurt her and made her go away. He lies to his friends. He steals from them and hurts them too. He also lies to his employees. He is lying right now. He knows something he is not telling you or your friends here. He knows that the company is doing something called a merge and that all of you will be laid off in a month from now. He is the only person who will be moving on to the new company. He was not going to tell anyone until it was closer to the time he would be forced to.
Oh shit.
That's not good. This doll is about to knife the boss now. Like he's going down. Blood will flow.
Man, I don't know, man. I wouldn't mind me a little Matilda doll, you know?
Could you imagine having something just like following you all the time and then when somebody lies to you, they just disappear?
You take her to the fucking casino.
Oh man, you'd be standing there alone by the end of the night.
Oh yeah.
I'm just gonna take this pile of cash. No worries.
He's bluffing. Don't lie to me. My heart sank as I digested what Matilda had told me. That bastard knows we are all going to lose our jobs and he was going to string us all along with hardly any warning. I felt myself getting angry at the revelation and I immediately forgot what had happened when Matilda knew something. Or someone that made me very angry or unhappy. I had to get out of there. I was panicking at the prospect of losing my job. I did not know what might happen if Matilda recognized that and lashed out at what was making me upset. I stood up and started walking out. I ignored my co-workers' questions at what was going on. Unfortunately, Mr. Langdon was near the door, having come back inside from an apparent phone call. He put his phone away and regarded me.
Where's the fire? I thought I said expedite the Kelso account. Not take a coffee break only an hour into your shift. You know it's this kind of attitude that...
I cut him off and got directly up in his face and told him,
Why don't you just fire me? Or were you waiting for another month to just make it easier to get rid of all of us at once?
His face turned white and he had no words to respond. The fear on his face validated the truth of what Matilda had said. He really did know and he was not going to tell any of us. He stuttered for some response, but I brushed past him and tried to block the inevitable question that perforated my mind shortly afterwards.
Can I make the bad man go away? He seems very heartless, but I'm sure there is a way I can find the truth. Find his truth that makes him feel so bad that he just goes away forever.
I found that my anger at the situation dulled the horror of Matilda's threat more so than the last few times she offered to help. I admit, I almost made no effort to stop her, but I just managed a response of,
No, it's not worth it. Don't use his truth to make him go away. Thank you for the offer, Matilda. I just need to go home and start brushing up on my resume.
I heard her acknowledgement and she said,
I promise I won't make him do it.
I realize now I should have been more specific. When I got home, I collapsed on my couch. I knew that at some point I would need to get my computer and start looking for a new job. I did not have a lot of time left and I was not expecting to have to be looking so soon. Later that evening, I was almost through processing my situation and trying to do something about it. Just then I got a call from an unknown number. I was shocked when I answered and I learned it was the police. My jaw almost hit the floor when I learned that I was being contacted for a statement and witness testimony for a crime that occurred at my work. Apparently, earlier that day, there had been a homicide. The victim was of course my boss, Mr. Langdon. The suspect currently in custody and the reason for the call was, to my shock, Gary. He had apparently gone berserk and stabbed Mr. Langdon 32 times with a letter opener.
Bro, 32 times? That's personal. That's personal. So word got around that, hey, you're losing your job, guy, because somebody probably overheard her say it to him. Gary got a hold of the information. He's like, fuck this. I'm going to killing this motherfucker for being quiet about it. And Gary went and killed the fucking boss. This doll is stirring up so much shit.
Well, she's dealing with Gary and him at the same time. She thinks Gary's a bad dude. Gary got a little nookie and now he's like bold. That motherfucker's going down.
Dangerang.
I could barely speak, and I was encouraged to come down to the police station to give them a proper account if I was not able to on the phone. They had wanted to know if any of his coworkers had seen Gary acting strangely that morning, or likely any other telling details that could help explain the violent and grisly outburst. Well, yes, officer, Gary got a hooker yesterday, and you think he'd be a little less wound up?
Yeah, he should be pretty relaxed at this point.
After I was done with the call, I hung up and walked to the living room. I heard a soft melody humming in my head, and I could tell Matilda was very happy. I walked up to her shelf, and she had a broad smile on her face. I asked her directly,
Why did you lie to me? Why did you kill Mr. Langdon?
Matilda did not respond at first, but the humming song had stopped. I felt an odd static in the air, and I looked back as I heard a light bulb explode in the kitchen. When I looked back, there was an odd look on her face again. It looked half triumphant and half guilty. She spoke finally and said,
But I didn't lie. I promised I wouldn't make him do it. I did not have him do it. I just showed the truth to all your co-workers. Then after that, that man, Gary, the one... Gary... All right, I gotta try to get through this without laughing. This next line. Gary, the one with the happy prostitute friend, he is the one...
the one with the condoms falling out of his back pocket.
In that voice, it just sounds so ridiculous.
It does. It's great, though.
He is the one who did something about it. So like I said, I didn't lie. I never lie. That man was bad. He lied. Worse, he lied to my friend. I would never lie to my friend. I just want you to be happy.
I couldn't believe it. The rationalization was hideous, but technically true. I had no idea what to do about her. I realized it was finally time to get some answers about where my friend really came from. I resolved to go back to that antique store and see just what the hell Matilda was and where she came from. I like how she assumes that the antique store, like an antique store, they didn't order that from a specific location. Somebody brought that in and sold it to them. It's like they keep a record of every item, like, oh yes, Mr. Billington, maybe.
Remember, though, that the lady behind the counter says that it caused problems. She
You're
knew.
right.
So now those words are starting to shift around and mean something more to her now. Obviously, at that point in time, she's like, this is an inanimate object. So she didn't think anything of it. Now that she knows that she's like a sentient being, it changes everything.
This is true. Man, it's interesting because for a minute there, whenever she got kind of bold and up in his face about it, I was like, man, maybe like she's going to start working in tandem with Matilda.
Well, I mean, I guess that kind of is already happening, but I don't think that she wanted it to go to the extreme that it did, you know? Like she's all about not getting screwed, but at the same time,
She's got kind of an interesting gift here. And I feel like personally, if I'm this far into it, I would just try to keep that little doll happy and do whatever she wanted to make sure I got whatever I wanted.
it's definitely a symbiotic relationship for sure.
Yeah.
I woke up feeling exhausted and drained. I had slept poorly and dimly remembered more strange dreams from the times I managed to sleep at all. Dreams of many voices speaking from seemingly nowhere, confusion, loneliness, and one other besides the faces that would come and go and leave and stay. I could not make out the face, but I kept thinking of a yellow dress and a name Ruby. When I forced myself up and out of bed, I almost panicked at the time.
Real quick, she kept thinking of a yellow dress and a name Ruby. There were like two dolls at that shop.
Yeah. Yep, she decided between, two or three of them.
It was at least two. I forget what color Matilda had on. Was it blue?
Matilda had blue, yep.
Yeah. And that was her mom's favorite color or some shit.
Right. That's what kind of made her decision. But yeah, she has a friend. Oh, I wonder what this one's like, if that's the case. When I forced myself up and out of bed, I almost panicked at the time. Then I remembered I had essentially lost my job and could sleep in if I wanted to, at least for now. I heard a soft morning tune being hummed at the edge of my perception, and I knew Matilda was awake, assuming she ever slept, that is. I had kept my word and let her sit on a shelf in my bedroom, and I was afraid that her proximity had worsened the bizarre dreams I was having. I felt a strange and profound sense of empathy and sadness for her. More still, I recalled the feelings of loneliness and the constant befriending and the abandonment of so many faces, so many people. I reached out to her with a soft,
Good morning, Matilda.
The humming stopped, and the response was quick.
Good morning, my friend. I hope you're okay. You seem like you had a rough night. I think some caffeine would do you well. Did you want to go to the kitchen and have one of your coffee drinks?
I finally looked over the doll I was speaking to and saw Matilda smiling ear to ear as she spoke.
Thank you for your concern, Matilda. I will be okay. Actually, I need to go to the store today, so I hate to say it, but I need to leave you here for just an hour. The shop doesn't let people take backpacks in since people might want to steal stuff, so I wouldn't be able to take you anyway. I promise it will be a short stop and I'll be right back, okay?
There was a considerate moment, and then she spoke again in a dejected and sad tone.
Dude, that's scary because I know that Matilda said she wouldn't look into her, but she's lying to her right now.
Yep, she's lying to her and she knows. Like, why even try to lie to a doll that can see the truth?
Why not be like, Matilda, can you tell me where you came from? Let's just fucking go there, you know? Be honest with her.
Oh, all right. I guess that is fine. I will be all right. Just please don't be long. Also, would you be able to leave the TV box on? I like watching people do things and it feels less lonely.
I agreed to her request and turned on some daytime TV for her and closed the door, waving goodbye as I did. I had not technically lied. I was going to a store, just that it was the store I had purchased her from. Truth Antique was open now, and I was going there with some questions that the strange old woman who worked there might hopefully be able to answer.
Truth Antique. Did we know it was called that before?
Yeah, I think so. I think they mentioned it.
I don't remember that. It makes sense. She's gonna leave Matilda at home watching Jerry Springer.
Oh no.
He's fucking lying!
Like the whole house is burnt down when she gets back.
That's her cousin and her brother.
Oh no. That would be like torturous for her almost.
Oh my
Like
God,
there's so many
yeah.
lies happening. Like she just comes home and there's just like spontaneous combustion of the doll like on her bed. Like it's just melted in. I arrived early, right when they were opening it seemed. Hold on one second. I got some kind of weird noise going on here.
It's Matilda.
Don't worry, Vito. I'll take care of him. He lied. He told you that he was out of kibble.
I saw the familiar old woman unlocking the doors and turning on a flickering open sign. I thought it was good that no other customers seemed to be waiting to get in. I needed some of her time to get some questions answered. Whatever the true nature of Matilda was, this woman knew something about it. I rushed towards the door and stepped inside. The familiar scent of old wood and mothballs assailed me as I entered. I walked further in, expecting to see her close by, since I had just gone right in after she unlocked the doors. Surprisingly, she was nowhere to be seen near the front. I did not know how she could have moved so quickly, but I started walking around trying to find her. The place felt different than before. I thought I remembered it being smaller. Yet I was walking, trying to find the shopkeeper. I felt like I was getting turned around and lost in the area I had once perceived as small. The effect was made worse by a strange thumping sound I started to hear. It was distracting me from looking for the shopkeeper, as it started to get louder and louder as I walked. Eventually, it sounded like someone was beating a drum incessantly. Incessantly. There it is. I raced along trying to find the old noise's source. I had finally come to an area I had not been before. The noise was very loud and I figured it had to be originating here. I stood in an odd section of the store with disturbing, almost cult-like paraphernalia. An ornate little chest seemed to be pulsing with some sort of barely restrained energy, and I realized the thumping sound seemed to emanate from the box. It did not look like it was physically moving enough to make such a racket, yet the sound pulsed in my head. It reminded me of how Matilda spoke directly into my mind, and I feared that the object was trying to communicate something to me. I stepped closer and felt an odd sense of calm wash over me. Then, almost all of my apprehension about the box had vanished, and I felt the overwhelming urge to open it and speak to the spirit it contained. If Matilda was friendly, then why not? I moved closer, compelled to open the box when a voice called out loudly.
Please step away from the box, sir.
I snapped back to my senses, and a wave of dread washed over me as I looked at my hand just inches away from the ornate little chest. I suddenly realized it would be a terrible idea to open the box, which I had just noticed had a palpable aura of discomforting energy radiating off of it. I stepped back as instructed and pulled my gaze from the terrible chest. Looking back, I saw the shopkeeper. She addressed me again.
You're welcome to purchase the Dybbuk box here, but I will have to insist you don't open it on the premise. They are a dreadful mess to clean up, and if they hit an area with lots of foot traffic and people to attach to...
She chuckled and looked me up and down, then a gleam of recognition appeared in her eyes as she spoke again.
Oh, you are the one who bought Matilda. That's right. How is she doing? I hope you are not here to tell me that you want to give her back. That poor thing just wants a home. But too many people just can't seem to handle the truth. Is that it? You can't handle the truth?
You can't handle the truth, boy.
Man, I gotta say this. For anybody writing a story,
It would be really nice to know if the main protagonist, a little bit about what they look like, if they're male or female, or who they are, so you can kind of visualize that. Because up to this point,
I thought we found out that it was a female.
it's clearly not. I mean, she says, "Step away from the box, sir."
Oh.
Yeah, so like,
We're just finding out that this is a dude now?
yeah, and I mean, like, it's fine. It's just like your mental image of that. Yeah. It's just like really interesting that we have no visual image of who this person is, and I'm trying to visualize this shit, you know?
Well, now I can kind of see a little bit better of an idea.
Yeah.
But dude, like, you're welcome to purchase the Dybbuk box here. Like, you know what a Dybbuk box is, right?
No, I don't. Enlighten me.
Dude, it's literally like a box that holds like a soul in it. And she talks so loosely to her about it. It's interesting. It's definitely like some kind of supernatural spirit holding device. People can, like, you can trap evil souls in a Dybbuk box.
About how much you want for the Dybbuk box? So you got about a 6-pack of souls.
You can't open that up. It's going to make a mess in here. Like,
These here souls, they hungry.
I stepped back from the exclamation, and then she burst into laughter and then continued.
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mean to startle you. It's just a movie reference, you know. A Few Good Men. Anyway, what can I do for you today?
I brushed off my earlier concern and decided to just talk to her directly.
No, I'm not here to return her, but I did need to know, what is Matilda really?
There was a brief pause, and then the shopkeeper's expression took on a bemused look. She considered her answer for a moment and then responded.
Why, Matilda is many things. A doll, a friend, a work of art.
I was annoyed by the answer. She clearly knew what I meant, but was choosing to be evasive.
No, I mean, what is she besides a doll? I know she has a doll body, but I have never seen any dolls do what she can do. Is she some sort of spirit? And what does she really want? You must know, you must have heard stories of what she had done in her previous homes. She seems very comfortable killing those who lie about anything and everything. Please, please tell me.
She laughed again and responded.
Oh yes, she does really hate liars, but who doesn't? I am guessing that you found that out about her firsthand.
She chuckled again and continued.
But to answer your question, what she wants is a friend. Simple as that. A true friend, one who won't lie to her, one who won't leave her like all the others did. The constant abandonment has been hard on her. I would keep her, but I have to watch the other one.
I saw her shift uncomfortably, and her normal bright smile vanished briefly. I considered what she had said about the other one. Then I remembered the other question I had. I can see something unfolding right now where she said that she wants a friend, a true friend that won't lie to her. Here's my bet. It's just a bet. She's going to go back. Matilda's going to confront her. Where did you go? I guarantee you that's what's going to happen. She's either going to tell the truth, and Matilda probably won't be that angry at her because she's like a truth doll. Maybe I'm wrong. But if she lies to her, she's going to know.
If he's smart, then he'd be like, listen, I wanted to find out more about you. Why didn't you just ask me? Fucking die! Right? Or like...
Well, yeah, because I'm fucking terrified that a doll is talking to me like telepathically.
Yeah, you're right. Just be honest with her. But you gotta wonder. I wouldn't assume that this dude thinks that simply purchasing Ruby would do the trick, because Matilda, if that was the case, Matilda and Ruby would have been just fine hanging out alone.
Or they would have found each other. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
If they needed each other and they can move around in space, like obviously Matilda can, why can't Ruby just go find her? She's a doll, you know?
Right. So who is Ruby?
I asked, almost anticipating the answer I received. The shopkeeper looked concerned, but decided to answer all the same.
Ruby is Matilda's sister. You likely saw her when you bought Matilda. She is slightly more difficult than her sister.
I saw her flinch and sniff the air, like she was smelling for something. She looked back at me, lowered her voice considerably, and said,
Sorry, just making sure nothing's burning. Ruby has a, well, let's just say a fiery temper. I may as well tell you, since you deserve to know as Matilda's friend and keeper. The two arrived together as a pair 3 years ago. I used to try and keep them together, and after selling them a few times, I had to stop since the results were problematic.
I asked her.
What do you mean problematic?
She grinned again and said,
Well, to put it bluntly, they kept burning down people's houses and killing the people who were supposed to be keeping them. What the fuck do you think? Her sister's a pyromaniac.
Yeah, why are you selling these things to people over and over again? She's like, I'll take the $80 and you're probably going to be dead by the time. And then the doll probably comes back and like jumps up on the shelf getting ready to get sold again. That's ridiculous.
She's like, I looked into his soul. He's cheating on his wife. Burn it down. Burn it down.
Yeah, Ruby sounds like a pyro. You're right. I gasped at the omission, but she held up a hand to cut me off and she resumed.
I know what you're thinking. No, I did not know it would happen. I just wanted to keep them together, but when they are together, there is a problem. See, Matilda is the calmer of the two, but she can read people's thoughts. Ruby is more aggressive, but she does not know when people are lying. The problem is when they are together. Then often the result will be Matilda telling her sister some secret that incenses her sister, and then, well, things end up going down in flames, figuratively and literally. I end up having to retrieve them, or they do what they often do and find their way back here. I realized I had to separate them, try and let them be in the world apart, and find new families. I thought maybe their worst aspects could be tempered by finding people that could give them what they need, while not letting them feed off each other's worst impulses and continuing to kill. Yet time and time again, they would come back. Never just the right fit. Ruby has challenges, but I will find the right home for her one day. But for Matilda, maybe I already have. You know, she is a kind soul, don't you? She might kill the liars, but she has a good heart. Just give her a chance. No big deal.
No big deal. Just let her slaughter the fucking liars. It's like, come on, man. Like, send him to the grinder. This lady is hardcore.
I'm picturing it too. Like the lady sees like something on the news about a house burning down. So like she goes and retrieves them. She's like showing up on the crime scene, rummaging through, picking up the dolls and scuttering off. How do the dolls find their way back? I don't remember anything about Matilda on her own.
The shopkeeper held her hands together and looked almost pleadingly. Then she turned around and I thought I heard her mutter a colorful string of language.
Oh no, I think Ruby heard her sister's name. She has been upset ever since I sold her. Even though it's for the best, Ruby gets angry when Matilda is sold and she remains. You might want to leave. If she is angry, The
shopkeeper was cut off as a brilliant pyre of light and flame burst into being in the center of the store. The conflagration incinerated 2 rows of items, and I stared in shock and silence at the shelf I had found the dolls on just days ago. On it sat the doll in a yellow dress, with a crack on its face. Its red hair was brushed back away from the grimace of anger it wore on its face. I did not know what I would do next as the voice spoke and declaration was made clear.
Hello, my name's Ruby. You're going to bring me to my sister.
I swallowed hard and knew I would not likely have the option to decline.
Oh shit!
Now you own 2 dolls. I wonder if the shopkeeper's gonna charge her for it. Like, that'll be $72.50. You know?
Like, you fucking bitch.
The doll said you're going with her.
You're paying me to take her. Should have just stayed at home, went to the casino with Matilda, had a good time. What do you think, man?
I dig it. I mean, it's not something usually in the wheelhouse that stimulates me. I like the idea. It's a cool idea. I feel like it's like in between like Child's Play and...
It's a cool concept.
It's very unique, the concept itself. Now that we're bringing in a second doll, the sky's the limit. Especially this one likes the flames. So, part 5. The flames licked at the shelves around Ruby, casting an eerie orange glow across her porcelain face. Her eyes seemed to glow with an inner fire as she stared at me intently. I felt rooted to the spot, unable to look away from her piercing gaze.
Well,
Ruby demanded, her voice echoing in my mind.
I'm waiting.
I glanced frantically at the shopkeeper, hoping she would intervene, but she had backed away to the far corner of the store. Her eyes were wide with fear as she watched the scene unfold.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I stammered.
The shopkeeper said you two shouldn't be together. It's dangerous.
Ruby's eyes never changed, yet I could feel the barely suppressed anger in them as the flames around her surged higher.
Dangerous for who? The liars? The ones she knows have the worst intentions? I bet she would say that. She says she knows what's best for us, but she always separates us. She always tells us to sit still and not talk to people, to be patient, and someone will come along and take us. Well, the last time I did that, she sold Matilda and left me.
I knew I had little choice. I nodded shakingly, feeling concerned and hopeless in the matter.
Okay, I'll take you to Matilda. Just please don't burn the place down.
I glanced at the shopkeeper, and she was caught between surveying the damage and looking concerned about Ruby. I caught her eye, and she looked grateful, but also a bit helpless as to what to do about the situation. When I looked back at her, Ruby's expression softened slightly, though the flames continued to dance around her.
Good. You made the right choice. Now pick me up and let's go.
With trembling hands, I reached out and grasped Ruby. Despite the fire surrounding her, she felt cool to the touch. As soon as I lifted her from the shelf, the flames extinguished themselves, leaving behind scorched wood and melted plastic. I turned to the shopkeeper, who was still pressed against the far wall.
I'm sorry,
I said weakly. She shook her head, a grim expression on her face.
It's not your fault. Just be careful, and good luck. You're going to need it.
I clutched Ruby tightly as I made my way out of the antique shop, my heart pounding in my chest. The bell above the door jangled discordantly as I pushed it open, stepping out into the crisp morning air. The normalcy of the quiet street felt surreal after what I had just witnessed inside. As I walked to my car, I could feel Ruby's presence intensely, like a barely contained inferno. Her porcelain body remained cool, but there was an unnatural warmth radiating from her that made the hairs on my arms stand on end. I fumbled with my keys, nearly dropping them before managing to unlock the car door.
Careful now.
Ruby's voice echoed in my mind, tinged with amusement.
We wouldn't want any accidents, would we?
I placed her gently on the passenger seat, noting how the faded yellow on her dress seemed to be unaffected by the fiery aura she radiated. I couldn't help but question how someone could have taken this doll home without realizing there was something strange about her. She seemed like a ticking time bomb waiting to explode at any moment. After the brief drive, we arrived back at my house, and I felt a sense of unease at the thought of bringing these two to each other. I stepped out of the car and helped Ruby out from the passenger seat. The heat that had surrounded her earlier seemed to have dissipated, and I couldn't help but wonder if it was connected to her current mood. As I looked at her face, I noticed that she was now wearing a smile. Despite the hairline crack on her porcelain features, there was a genuine warmth in her expression that made me slightly less uncomfortable around this doll with pyrotechnic abilities. As I approached the front door, Ruby nestled in my arms. I could feel a palpable tension in the air. My hand trembled slightly as I turned the key in the lock, pushing the door open with a creak that seemed unnaturally loud in the quiet morning. The moment we crossed the threshold, a change came over Ruby. Her porcelain body seemed to vibrate with excitement, and I could have sworn I felt a faint warming emanating from her once more. The air inside the house felt charged, as if it filled with static electricity.
Matilda?
I called out hesitantly, my voice barely above a whisper. Suddenly, a joyous cry echoed through my mind, startling me so much I nearly dropped Ruby. It was Matilda's voice, suffused with an emotion I have never heard from her before. Pure, unbridled happiness.
Ruby! Ruby!
Two of them. Matilda's voice cried out in my mind, filled with joy and excitement.
You're here! You're really here!
I walked into the living room where I had left Matilda on the shelf. Her painted face was beaming with the wildest smile I had ever seen on her. As I approached, I could feel an intense energy building between the two dolls.
Sister!
Ruby's voice rang out and responsive, equally elated.
I've missed you so much.
I gently set Ruby down next to Matilda on the shelf. The moment they were side by side, a strange sensation washed over me. It felt like the air in the room was vibrating, charged with an otherworldly power. The two dolls seemed to glow faintly, their porcelain bodies emanating a soft light. Matilda spoke first.
I was afraid I'd never see you again. Our friend at the store said we had to be separated for safety. I knew she was not lying. I am so glad that my new friend here trusts his safety and is willing to have us both.
Her voice was choked with emotion, a resonance that echoed deep within me. I stood there transfixed, as the space between the dolls seemed to pulse with their combined energy. Ruby's fiery aura flickered in tandem with Matilda's serene glow.
I won't let anyone separate us again, not like before.
There was a fierce determination in Ruby's tone, one that sent a shiver down my spine. I did not want to get on their bad side. An unsettling chill washed over me as I considered the implications of their bond. I had no idea how to proceed at that point. Ruby spoke again, breaking my contemplation.
You know,
Ruby said, her voice somewhat relaxed now.
We need a true friend, someone who will stand by us when the time comes.
I swallowed hard.
What do you mean when the time comes?
Ruby's laughter felt like it echoed through the room, carrying both a sense of joy and warning.
When it comes time to decide if we will stay with you, remember that so many others have deceived us and broken our trust. All we ask is for honesty from you. It's as simple as that. And if you are not truthful, the truth will come out like fire, burning away any lies. Now that Matilda is back with me, we will know, we can see, and we will take action.
I was speechless, and I just sat there and nodded. I couldn't say no, but I guess that as long as I told the truth and never tried to lie to them, I might be okay. Though their prospect of Ruby burning my house down made me wince. My thoughts were interrupted by a loud knocking at my door. The mental discourse of the dolls grew quiet. I went to the door and opened it. It was my neighbor, Glenn. His face was twisted in anger as he confronted me, saying,
Have you been talking to my girlfriend? She knew things that she couldn't have known unless someone was spying on me. I figured it's because of our noise complaints. You're always so passive-aggressive about it.
I was taken aback by his accusations. After all that had happened between us, including him stealing my packages, he had the audacity to blame me for his infidelity and his girlfriend leaving him. I stood my ground and retorted.
I have never had a conversation with your girlfriend, but maybe she has good reason to distance herself from someone who steals and cheats.
My grin may have been sarcastic, but it was clear that I had hit a nerve. He was here for revenge, and he didn't seem to have anything left to lose. It dawned on me that I may have made a mistake in provoking him. His gaze sharpened and he moved closer, clearly angered by my words. Before I knew what was happening, I was on the ground. Glenn had punched me in the face and I fell back into my own house and he stepped in. He looked like he was going to crouch down and continue pummeling me, but he saw the dolls on the shelf and laughed.
You collect dolls? Man, you are so weird.
In that moment, the atmosphere thickened, and a palpable tension crackled in the air like static before a storm. Matilda's porcelain brow was furrowed. Her piercing blue eyes locked onto Glenn with an intensity that sent shivers up my spine. Ruby, too, seemed to sense the rising threat, her vibrant red hair flickering as if caught in an unseen breeze.
Be careful,
Matilda warned softly yet firmly, her voice barely above a whisper.
He is a bad man, a liar. His actions hurt others, and now he has hurt our friend.
I turned to Ruby and her face was in a rictus of anger. Her mental declaration was instant and forceful.
You!
I knew this was going to end badly. She had screamed into my mind and clearly into Glenn's as well. He whirled around in panic, clearly looking for where the voice had come from. Ruby's voice echoed again, and I felt the air growing hotter around us.
Liars, bad people, always more. No matter how many are burned, the true ugly nature of people is revealed. Let the truth burn bright. He cannot hide from what he is.
I looked to Matilda, and there was a stern, accepting look painted on her face. She agreed with what Ruby was planning on doing. Glenn looked back at me, clearly freaked out by the sounds in his head. He was about to speak when he burst into a fireball. Damn.
Boom!
Boom! Spontaneous combustion. Na, 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 na.
I've been sucked in. Let's burn this motherfucker. It's barbecue time.
After frantically searching for a fire extinguisher in my kitchen, I finally located it and rushed back to the room. But it was too late. Glenn had already been turned to ash. I couldn't understand how the fire could have burned him so intensely, but also staying contained to where it began. The dolls sat still, their expressions somber and unwavering. Matilda's gentle voice echoed in my mind once again, pleading with me.
We are deeply sorry for going against your wishes, but he was a deceitful man. He caused harm to you and others. Please don't be too harsh on Ruby. If you give us a chance, perhaps we can all coexist peacefully.
I had just witnessed my neighbor being reduced to ashes within seconds by the pyrotechnic doll sitting on my shelf. I couldn't find the words to respond to Matilda's appeal at first. I couldn't believe what I was trying to justify. But I managed to say,
It's all right. I understand. I just need some time to process everything.
Her usual sweet response was,
Take all the time you need, friend. We'll be here for you anytime you need our help.
I left the room and headed to my kitchen to grab a dustpan to clean up the physical evidence of my neighbor's demise. Months have passed since that fateful encounter, and in the wake of chaos, a strange harmony has settled over our home. The police had come to question me about my missing neighbor, and I had told them the truth. I had no idea how he could have vanished without a trace. However, I admitted the details of his disappearance from my statement. I realized that I need to find some positivity in my situation. I may still be unemployed, but I believe that with the dolls by my side, I should pursue a career where liars, grifters, and corruption were rife. I want to work in a field where only the most deceitful and corrupt would suffer consequences from the relentless pursuit of truth my loyal companions wholeheartedly supported. With this in mind, maybe I'll need to relocate, move to somewhere where dishonesty and corruption are the business model. Yes, I think I will try to seek a new career opportunity in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, boy.
With Matilda and Ruby, what could go wrong? Stay safe and remember, honesty is the best policy.
Bro,
That's such a good ending.
it really is.
Good ending, man.
It really fucking is.
My mind is melded from that. Like, it all circles back around to Washington, D.C.
I love that.
Take out the trash.
I'm saying take these bitches to a casino, and he's saying let's fucking crush them. Like, this is cool, man. This was a cool story.
Legit story. Yeah, well written, for sure.
Really cool idea. Would love to see a part 6 through 9.
Yeah, we'll read it for you, man. We'll post it up. You can share it around. Get some people seeing some of your stories, because from beginning to end, good hook. We read the first 2 parts 2 weeks ago almost, and
Yeah,
maybe a week and a half or so.
something like that.
We kept talking about, when are we gonna do that?
What's Matilda gonna do?
Yeah, what's Matilda gonna do? It kind of hung in the back of our head, so you did it right.
I dig it, man. There's a lot of doll stories out there, but it's had its own flavor to it. I dig it. Thanks for having me, dude.
Absolutely. I am the Meeker Masochist with Trough-born Son. Thanks for sticking around. Farewell. My mind is melded from that.